Anime movies have gotten some major traction in the past 10 years. The levels of aesthetics and visual appeal are enough to make your eyes orgasm. It's 2D at its best. Not always, of course. And well, talking strictly in statistics, what do you think are the most successful anime movies of all time? That's what we'll be talking about today. And honestly, this list may surprise you. Well then, shall we talk about them? Starting from number 20. The first one on our list is One Piece Stampede. One Piece Stampede is basically just fan service. Think about a character and voila, he pops up in the movie. Of course, this also means that you'll have to be a One Piece fan to enjoy it. There are quite a lot of flashy visuals, which definitely make for some good eye candy. And then of course there's also Nami and Robin. That's right, this movie relies heavily on stuffing up the scene with all sorts of old or new characters. The One Piece world is vast, so if you have the most iconic characters in one place, there's a certain kind of charm to it. 19. Yokai Watch the movie. Yosh! Yokai Watch is a PG-rated wholesome anime that tells the story of a boy named Keita and all the cute ghosts he ends up getting involved with. It's kinda similar to Pokemon, but also has its own individuality, and this right here is a movie based on this anime. I'll be honest with you guys, prior to this I had never even heard of Yokai Watch, but since it's on the list of highest grossing Japanese films, it must be popular, right? 18. Detective Conan the Scarlet Bullet.
その当時の FBI 長官を調べたら
日本の皆さん、こんにちは。
石原が冤罪だった可能性は
Next up, we have Detective Conan, and I'll tell you right now that the two films after this one are also from the Detective Conan franchise. This series has dominated popularity ever since it first came out in the 90s. There are more episodes than One Piece, and even more movies than One Piece. The Scarlet Bullet movie is a recent one. It features the world's biggest sports festival. Japan is organizing it, of course. You can think of it as Japan's organizing the Olympics. And since a lot of people from all over the world gather around in Japan, it's the perfect setting to tell the story of a mystery drama. 17. Detective Conan, Zero the Enforcer.
And it shrank her body, too. Here's another dark figure, also part of the Black Organization, codenamed Bourbon, alias Toru Amuro.
Moving on, we have Detective Conan, Zero the Enforcer. It is essentially about Conan saving his girlfriend's father from a potential international threat, but the movie does an excellent job of capturing that OG Detective Conan feeling. An explosion takes place at a certain Tokyo summit, and Kogoro is arrested as a suspect. Now, what will Conan do to not only protect his girlfriend's father, but also make sure that this doesn't escalate into something big? 16. Detective Conan, the Fist of Blue Sapphire.
He wants to use that drug again to return to his original form.
Where are you headed to this time?
Ron?
Following Zero the Enforcer, we have yet another Detective Conan film, The Fist of Blue Sapphire. Honestly, out of all 20 picks on this list, the Detective Conan franchise is hogging the most spots. But I guess that's what happens when you have 25 movies under your name. The plot of this one revolves around a blue sapphire, which is allegedly the world's great blue sapphire. It was sunk along with a pirate ship in the late 19th century, but when a Singaporean millionaire decides to get it out of the water, but then things go wrong when a murder takes place. One thing leads to another, and Conan also ends up in Singapore. 15. Dragon Ball Super Broly. Indeed, this list is incomplete without a Dragon Ball film. Dragon Ball Super Broly tells us the story of the legendary Super Saiyan, who is born only once every 1,000 years. Of course, this is not the first time this Saiyan has debuted, but it wasn't until this movie that Toriyama-sensei decided to make Broly canon. Add that to the fact that it is essentially a sequel to the Dragon Ball Super anime, and fans have no reason not to watch it. Besides, the fighting choreography and visuals alone are worth the time and the money. 14. Pokemon the Movie 2000.
Yeah, you're right. I can do it. I'm the chosen one.
Pokemon the Movie 2000 is the second Pokemon film. There's an ancient prophecy that speaks of a day when the titans of ice, lightning, and fire would be disturbed. During such a period of turmoil, the guardian of the sea named Lugia will emerge and restore the natural harmony of these elements. A not-so-clever Pokemon trainer hears about this and decides to capture Lugia. Little did he know about the various climate issues that'll soon befall Earth because of his selfishness. Ash and friends have to stop him before chaos envelops the world. 13. The Wind Rises. Looks like we've stumbled upon a Studio Ghibli film. The Wind Rises is based on the life story of a Japanese aeronautical engineer. He was someone who designed a fighter plane named Mitsubishi Zero that was used during the attack on Pearl Harbor. The name of the individual is Jiro. We start off with a young Jiro who has hopes and dreams about the future. He seeks to become a pilot, but unfortunately, his eyesight isn't up to the standard. And so after understanding the cards he has been dealt with, he decides to become an aeronautical engineer. I'd say this film is a testament to Hayao Miyazaki's love and passion for his craft. Simply beautiful and awe-inspiring. Definitely a must-watch for everyone, regardless of their taste in media. 12. The Secret World of Arrietty.
今度は受け取ってくれると嬉しいんだけど。
ありがとう。
As an adaptation of an iconic novel by Mary Norton, The Secret World of Arrietty is an award-winning tale of adventure and excitement. One day, a young boy named Sho is out in the woods during a hot summer when he makes a phenomenal discovery. He finds a small girl, and by small, I mean she's literally the size of his finger. You can probably imagine what kind of movie this is. It's essentially a tale of friendship between two different kinds of humans. And yes, it's also a Studio Ghibli film. 11. Princesse Mononoke.
Princess of the Wolf Gods! Don't go down there! Go back to the forest!
But well, the string of Studio Ghibli movies hasn't ended yet. Here we have an undeniable masterpiece from the late 90s. Some people argue that it's the most prolific out of all the Hayao Miyazaki films, but I really don't want to go that route. Anyways, Princesse Mononoke is a powerful film that hints at the dangers of industrialization, how humans are being mean to their planet, or in simpler words, this is a tale that depicts the connection of technology and nature, and what is the potential path to harmony among all the chaos and bustle of our industrialized world. 10. Pokemon the first movie.
Is called Pikachu.
Hi, Pikachu. My name's Ash Ketchum. You and I are gonna be best friends.
Alright, we're finally down to the top 10. At number 10, we have the first Pokemon movie. I'd say if you grew up in the 90s or the early 2000s, you must have definitely watched this film. It's impossible to miss, and also has a really high rewatch value. I still remember myself bawling all over the place because of a certain sad event that takes place during the climax of the film. I would not spoil, but let's just say if you want to open a nostalgia bomb, this movie could be it. 9. Stand By Me, Doraemon. Speaking of nostalgia, who doesn't remember Doraemon? For those of us who regularly watch Doraemon at some point in our lives, Stand By Me is an homage to those memories. It is a narrative masterpiece, a brilliant animation, and a simply beautiful encapsulation of that thing we call friendship. For the most part, this movie isn't anything new. It's just a retelling of some of the best Doraemon episodes, but in 3D. And yet, it's simply a bomb of joy and memories. 8. Weathering with You. It's about time we bump into a Makoto Shinkai film. Weathering with You is just as aesthetically pleasing as you'd imagine a Makoto Shinkai film to be. The story mostly centers around these obnoxious rains that have been violating Tokyo. It just pours down and it keeps pouring down. Now, if only there was a sunny girl or boy. I'm not making any presumptions. There's also a 16-year-old who's run away from his home and came all the way to Tokyo. One thing leads to another and he comes across a girl who has the ability to make the sun shine. 7. Jujutsu Kaisen 0.
邪魔だ。
After Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen is definitely the next big thing. As for this movie, it is essentially a prequel to the Jujutsu Kaisen anime that tells us the story of the current second years, and also of a mutant prodigy named Yuta Okotsu. There's plenty to offer in terms of lore and world building. If you've watched or ever planning on watching Jujutsu Kaisen, there's no reason to not watch Jujutsu Kaisen 0. 6. One Piece film Red. Alright, so here at number 6 we have the latest One Piece film. I personally don't know how to feel about this, considering how it is more of a musical than a carefully put together plot. But hey, if you want to see more of the Straw Hats, or I'd say if you want more of Shanks' alleged daughter Uta, you can have a good time with this one. By the way, I heard Uta is canon, so tell me guys, is that really true? Moving on, we have the top 5 picks. 5. Ponyo.
Look at my ocean. Something has changed. It's like my ancient Devonian sea full of magic and power.
Ponyo is a goldfish princess who wants to become a human after she meets a boy named Sosuke. Lucky for her, because she's consumed human blood, she has somehow acquired the ability to transform into one. All in all, Ponyo is yet another one of the Studio Ghibli films. It invokes that childish feeling of wonder in the mind of the viewer. But what is a Studio Ghibli, or should I say Hayao Miyazaki film without trouble? Things go terribly wrong when the force of magic causes Moon to dance a little. 4. Howl's Moving Castle. Alright, we're once again talking about a Hayao Miyazaki film. Seriously though, in terms of quality and ingenuity, Howl's Moving Castle is just as good as Princesse Mononoke. The story follows a girl named Sophie. She's a hat maker's daughter, and like most people, he doesn't really have any big hopes for the future. She just continues working in her father's shop, until one day when something unprecedented happens. Through a twist of fate, she suddenly turns into an old woman, and before she knows it, she's on a journey with a wizard named Howl in his moving castle. In simpler words, this movie is about courage and facing one's fears. 3. Your name.
俺君をどこかで
We all knew it was only a matter of time before Your Name shows up. So here we are. At number 3, we have Makoto Shinkai's magnum opus. The story follows two teenagers, namely Mitsuha and Taki. Mitsuha is a high school girl who daydreams about living in Tokyo, while Taki is a student in Tokyo who studies and hustles all day every day. As fate would have it, these two switch bodies with each other. I'd say this film knows how to play with your emotions. The sheer dexterity of the character dilemmas, the beautiful OSTs, orgasmic visuals, and solemn songs all work together to land some solid emotional blows on your stomach. 2. Spirited Away.
Granny! Thank you so much. I'll miss you.
Don't worry, you'll be all right, Zen.
That's right, another Hayao Miyazaki film. I think this is the 5th one on this list, and as is the case with the other films on this list, this one also brings with it its own kind of charm. A girl named Chihiro is on her way to her new house, together with her parents, when they discover an abandoned amusement park. Little did they know that this amusement park is a gateway to an unfamiliar world. Uncertainty, fantasy, and the desire to save her parents. Just what would Chihiro do next, now that he has spirited away from the usual? 1. Demon Slayer the movie, Mugen Train.
I will see my duty fulfilled! No matter what it takes, no one shall die here!
Finally, at the number 1 spot, we have the Demon Slayer movie Mugen Train. It grossed over $100 million more than Spirited Away, despite being a sequel. Or maybe it's because it was a sequel that it became such a global sensation, especially since the anime and the manga were already overwhelming the internet. The amount of care and dedication Ufotable put in the creation of this movie will impress even the most cynical viewer. Seriously, it's about as good as 2D gets. So what do you guys think about these movies? Keep in mind that being the highest grossest film doesn't mean it's actually the best one. I mean, I don't see Tokyo Godfathers and Wolf Children in this list. So feel free to talk about these films however you want. And of course, don't forget to share your favorite anime film with us. Also, free cookies for everyone who likes and subscribes. And with that said, I'll see you guys on my next video.